Hello and welcome back everybody. It's Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what the story is about today. What would you do if you found out that your wife has cheated on you in the past and the twin daughters that you love more than life aren't yours? Now let's find out all about it in today's story with all updates. Also, if you like what I do, please give this video a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel.
My wife and I began dating when we were both very young, and I would say that our relationship back then was strong. We got married in June 2008, and shortly after, my mother passed away. It was in a car accident. I cut my honeymoon short to attend her funeral, and my wife was supportive of me at the time. She would take care of everything while I grieved for my mother with my father. The house, the bills, therapy sessions, emotional support, she did everything a person could. That was who I saw as my wife. Whoever she is now, I have no idea. We began trying for a baby in 2012. It was during this period that she cheated on me. There was no indication whatsoever, no drop in intimacy, no hiding text messages on her phone, not even a single mention of any new friends. As far as I knew at the time, our efforts were paying off.
So once the twins were born, OP had everything he ever dreamed of in his life.
A loving wife, children to adore, and my father's chance to spoil them. He was so happy, loved them with all his heart. He passed away only 2 years ago, practically thanking me with tears for being his son. As time went on, there would be cracks showing in my wife's narrative. In every argument since then, she would call the twins my twins, accuse me of flirting with coworkers. What seemed to be small issues to me, in hindsight, were red flags that pointed to her having or having had another man. So, now quarantine hit and we're both working from home. My wife had mentioned that she had taken an ancestry test in the past, and I was hopeful that I could find distant relatives to connect with. I wanted to map out a complete family tree to show off to the twins. Needless to say, when I pitched the idea to my wife, she panicked. Told me that was the stupidest idea she had ever heard, and that I already had the family I wanted. What if the relatives I found were dangerous? She was grasping at straws to dissuade me from taking that test.
Now the question is, why would she be so against him finding family members?
So, I secretly had my twins and I take the test and took them for treats afterwards to buy their silence. Waiting for the results were making me uneasy. She seemed to notice it and tried to distract me with intimacy, meals, and date nights. Once the results came in last week, I saw I wasn't even considered a close match to them. The closest I found to their biological parents was my wife and some name I didn't recognize. I nearly vomited right then and there. I had to get out. So I waited until my wife left for a run, packed up, told my twins I was going on a work trip. She would call and text nearly nonstop until I told her that I knew about the twins and blocked her.
OP was angry, so he had to find the other man and make him understand what he did to his family.
He was extremely prevalent on social media, so I knew his face now, and I recognized a park outside his apartment window in a specific post. I then waited in that park the next day and was lucky enough to catch him while he was on a jog. He looked so much like me, just with a longer face and thinner hair. I called his name and asked him if he knew my wife. He seemed confused at first, but when I showed him a picture, he actually recognized her and told me that he had met her during a work conference. I asked him if he had physical relations with her then, and he actually told me yes, they did. He seemed to understand where this was headed and asked me who I was. So we sat down and I told him my story. And when he found out that the twins were likely his, he was shell-shocked. He begged me to give him a chance to get to know them. At the moment, I have no reason to distrust him. He's been more open than she has been. Nevertheless, I won't allow him to meet the twins without a professional to mediate. I had to call him today to inform him of that. Told him it was to protect the mental health of the twins, to which he agreed. Now, I'm just waiting for the legal side of things to work its course.
OP was told by the attorney that he needed some documents that he had left back home. Now, here is the first update.
I had to go back home to pick up some documents, and I kept a voice recorder ready. When I got there, I couldn't see her car in the driveway. It brought me comfort seeing that I wouldn't have to interact with her yet. What made me angry was opening my door and seeing the twins in the hallway crying. When they saw me, they rushed to hug me. They told me that Mom just left and that she was mad at them, that she kept crying all the time and that she would scream at them whenever they asked about me. They thought I had run away and that I was never coming back. While they were trying to inform me of all this, my heart was melting. Half of me wanted to flee from the scene with them and protect them, while the other was worried about how the wife could twist this to make her a victim. There was no doubt in my mind that she had been drinking heavily. She has had a history of it. I haven't seen her drink since we were engaged, and it's possible she relapsed. I contacted their mother right after and told her that I wanted the twins to stay with me for a while.
Now, her voice was extremely slurred, so OP knew she was drunk already at 3 in the afternoon.
She basically began bawling and apologizing for everything she had done, that she was a horrible person without me, and that she made a terrible mistake by betraying her perfect husband. I told her that, until she could get a handle on her drinking, she had to let the twins be with me. So, the next day, I went back to my old home with a friend. She handed me the twins and kept telling me how the twins missed me and to give her a date for when I was coming back home. I know she was betting on the twins to lure me back in. She is unaware I already found their father and began filing for divorce. I contacted OM and told him that if he truly wanted to become a father, we needed complete transparency between each other. I needed to trust that he would be good to the twins and that whatever future partner he may have will be the same. Seeing the twins all the time now hurts. Hearing them call me Dad feels like a pain in the chest, but I'm dealing with it.
OP is going to record all their interactions so that she can't accuse him of anything, and he has plenty of recordings that she won't like getting out. Now, here is the second update.
I heard that my wife was checked into a rehab center and began the process to recovery. At least, it would make serving her papers a lot simpler. However, the main issue was the fact that the twins definitely overheard I'm not their father during their time with their mother. I knew they were acting strange since I took them with me. They clung to me far more intensely than normal, asking me worrying questions like if they were adopted or whether I was going to run away again. I had chalked it up to what they had gone through while they were with their mother due to how difficult it was to get them to talk about it. They noticed the drop in my gestures of affection. They wanted more hugs, more lap sitting, more piggyback rides, and so on, but I simply couldn't do it as much as I used to. I try, I really do, but I can't stop feeling like I shouldn't do those. I've had divorce papers ready for a week now and just need to decide whether I'll still be financially responsible for the twins or whether that will be the biological parents. Should I decide not to be, I'll need to make a petition to take me off the birth certificate, which then automatically means I will have no grounds to fight for custody.
OP won't deny that he wants a family with his bloodline, and he wants to be able to fully support them without having to pay child support to his wife. Now, here is the final update.
My wife had left the rehab center earlier than her caretaker's advice. I had already had divorce papers ready for her to sign and had served her while her sister and her were at my old home. She called me and tried to plead with me not to go through with it, that this would tear the family apart. I couldn't stand it. I wish I could say I was calm and methodical in my response, but that would be a lie. I was bitter, resentful. I told her that the family was torn before it began, that she couldn't even love her own kids right, that she was the lowest life forms I had the displeasure of ever knowing. Now, she had got the message that I was serious about divorce and pulled a 180. Now, she had sent me messages saying she will take every penny I have. I had been filing every conversation and message I could get before blocking her, informing her that I would only contact her through my attorney. She hadn't mentioned or asked about the twins up to the day I blocked her, and I have noted that.
The twins have been doing so much better. They have been recovering from all the shock that has been thrown their way since this all began.
It's clear that they haven't really processed that another man is their biological father, and their therapist has discussed with me that a lot more work had to be done before really tackling that issue. I've decided to hold off any meeting between them and the OM. The OM has let me know just how disappointed he was, but that he understood the reason behind it. He has actually began to pay me back for all the money I've spent on the twins' education. So far, he's paid me $6,524. The guy has been really trying to pay me back. I've kept records of his payments and haven't touched the money. I'd rather put it into some kind of savings account for the twins. As for myself, I've been doing much better mentally. I have continued to sketch and draw whenever I'm alone so that I don't let my mind wander too much. I've also rekindled my childhood love for gaming, bought myself a PS4 2 weeks ago, and have been enjoying it ever since. The twins and I play together when we can, and it's helped ease the pain I felt when interacting with them. I've been putting off any decisions about custody, at least until my therapist and I have the utmost confidence in my emotional stability.
Finally, I must say, I'm doing my best to do right by the twins and myself. If the twins were mine and I found out about the other man, I would have still divorced her. Cheating is a deal breaker for me. I can't respect, trust, or be in a relationship with anyone who's done so. The other man had some words that he wanted to pass on for him when I served her the papers. I haven't told her about him wanting custody because, sadly, we don't know which one of us would be better served as a guardian yet. We want the twins and us to be mentally prepared before making any final decisions on custody. End of the story. Well, OP, I think in any other situation, holding off on full custody until you are emotionally stable would be the obvious call. But given the mother's lack of communication and somehow blames the children over her actions and the upcoming divorce, I think the full custody should happen regardless of whether you are ready to take up the burden. I know that's a bit too much to ask given the circumstances, but the children come first and their mother would clearly be an unfit caretaker. Thank you all for listening. Please like, comment and share the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.